Welcome back to the CRUST. At the end of the last episode, we unlocked the third mission for the laser gun. And with this mission, the number of resources have increased again by a lot. And it's also not easy resources. We need more than 2000 modular frame, more than 200 modular terminals, more than actually exactly 2000 carbon fibers, and 1500 nanotubes. These are crazy numbers, right? We have basically right now none of this except the modular terminal. We have enough, but look at these modular frames. We need 100 times that, and same for the nanotubes basically. So at the end of the last episode, I said I wanted to do a complete revamp of my underground base for a couple of reasons. I mean, yes, we have some part of the base that are very modular and easily upgradable. For example, over here, right? Those monoliths, we can easily put more there. That's not a problem. And we have there a mini bus, right? Where we could potentially put a few more over here and we could put more there. But then over here, this is not modularable at all, right? So all of those advanced production, like if we look over here on the modular frame, we only have one assembler. Similarly for the nanotubes, right? Only one, so that's not great. We're gonna want to delete all of this. So remember, this is looking like this, right? There's over here a couple of those multi-regolith refineries. Then we have the basic furnaces, right? The smelting furnaces. And then over here we get into the advanced stuff, but it's a bit of a mess, right? It was okay-ish for that time, but for a big expansion, that's not gonna work. And then over here we have obviously our base. Now I'm gonna tell you quite a bit of time. We're right now at 1500 days. I'm gonna spend a bit of time to basically rebuild the whole thing. And I'm gonna actually start over here because, you know, this is where the regolith from the cargo dock is coming from, right? We now have on the map mobile drilling rig, right? It's getting us a lot of resources. So we're gonna use this one as the start of the base. This is gonna be the start of the base over here. And so those regoliths actually, or instead of putting them there, I'm gonna start them over here. The main reason I'm doing this is also it's a lot easier to start rebuilding something new where there's nothing rather than delete first, right? I can keep that going while I build a new one, and when this is working, then I can delete this. And at that time, I can start building, you know, a new version of this while this is still going, and then when this is done, delete it, right? So that's why I'm doing this. Are you ready? Again, this is how it's looking right now. And let's jump into the future. And it is, ladies and gents, as you can see, first of all, almost 500 days have passed. So there's definitely been a lot of time, but I've also done a lot, right? Even on the base here, we've expanded by a lot, but most importantly, this is over here. Look at this, all new, all super well organized, and in particular, all super expandable easily. So let me give you a bit of a tour. We're gonna start, as I said just now, with the regolith. So the regolith arrives here, right? Goes into this mega large bulk storage, right? And then it goes over here into this long line. This is basically the same concept, but just even more, right? We have all of those multi-regoliths here, right? They have their input here and their output goes this side and also this side for the bulk, what is it called, not this one, the slag, right? The slag goes all the way over here. I can see actually that we're getting a bit full on slag, it seems. We have many of these, by the way, are upgraded at level 1, but not more than this. So with this, we're creating those outputs, right? We're creating, the first one is over here. It's the titanium oxide. Then we have, I always forget all of those names, sorry, silicon. Then we have, I think this is the aluminum, the iron, and then the slag, right? All of these are going into here, this mini bus. And the thing is, it's a bus, but at the same time, you know, I'm not keeping those resources going forever. I'm just using them where it's needed, meaning over here, the titanium, there is only one thing to do with the titanium oxide. So I'm putting it there and that's it. Then the bus ends. Similarly for the silicon, there's actually two usage. So we have the first one here, the second one there, but then it stops. You know, I'm not continuing it forever. There's no point. And then the same for the other resources. So let me show you. We start with the titanium, as I said. Then we have all of those smelting furnaces. There, we are actually really low on titanium oxide right now. I'm going to explain to you why and what I plan to do about it. But as I said, we have multiple of these, and this is easily scalable. This is fully scalable, almost to the infinite, because I can add more there, as many as I want. I just need, to connect like this, and then the output goes back this side. So it's not like the output is here and then I'm blocked. The output is actually going this side. So it is, again, fully expandable, scalable. Then we do the same over here with the silicon oxide, transforming it into silicon. That's the first output. As you can see, there is many, because right now I am actually producing tons of silicon. So I've scaled this as much as possible. We're continuing to scale it to use all of this silicon, right? And if I go over here quickly, sorry, the wrong button. If I go quickly to my cargo, there you see I have tons of Regolith. So the problem is not the Regolith, and I may also very soon do something else, which is actually, let's do it live together, is I think I want to put another of those belts somewhere. Oh, that is very dumb. I put this just in front, but for now let's put it over here, because right now I'm sort of limited by the speed of this belt. This is 450. We haven't unlocked yet the level 5, so 450 is the limit. So I'm gonna add another one there. This way I can put even more. We will be limited at 450 also on the top, unless I put, oh, sorry. So the game is starting to struggle, to be honest, right now, especially when I go to high speeds. But yeah, there is multiple outputs there, so we just need to put a second one there too. So again, all so that we can make sure to produce even more. This is all to produce the most we can per minute. That's the goal of all of this. Why is it not connecting nice? Okay, done. So then you go here and you go to this one. Okay. Cost a lot of money, but the good thing is we have a bit right now. So I've increased, the production over here. That's good. We're gonna make even more. But yeah, silicon, that was the second. Then the third is over here. This is the second use for the silicon, right? The smart concrete factory with also the slag. So the slag is this belt here, right? We have one underground passage to send it there. So let me slow down, as there are just too many things happening here. So yes, this is the slag that goes there, right? We have these underground passage to be able to serve easily. But again, this is fully scalable, right? I can just add another one there, as many as I want, and then the output goes this side. I see there is a problem on this one. There's not enough slag. Okay, we have tons of slag, so it's probably just a question of upgrading some of these. So let's go upgrade this. This is already upgraded to the max. It costs money, but again, this is important obviously to make sure that we are able to keep up and create a very high production of everything. So we create over here, as I said, those smart concrete. Then the next one is with the aluminum oxide. And again, as many as we want at those smelting furnaces. Right now, not that many, because I'm not making a lot of aluminum oxide similar to the titanium. We're gonna fix that soon. And then last but not least, we have over here the iron oxide, right? So again, we can scale it as much as we want, no problem. And it creates every time, the output into this storage, right? We have storage here, there, there, and there. And as you can see, it goes directly into an underground conveyor to go on the other side of the bus, right? The first one goes over here, the second there, third, fourth, right, fifth. And then they all come together into this second bus. Now this is over here the main bus of resources, right? We have the main bus of resources that takes all of those things I've just been mentioning, or that where we're making. And there's a couple of additional one. Over here there's a carbon one, and over here there is also the rare earth material. So the rare earth material actually are coming just from here, because you may remember this is also coming from this, right? We're also making rare earths actually. Right now there's none, but this is this belt here, which is going into this elevator there, right? Oh, sorry, my bad. So into this elevator here, next to the other one, right? It goes into the storage here. We have good reserves, so that's great. And then goes into for now 3 rare mineral refinery. If you look over here, you can actually see that I have a lot of rare earth elements, so that's not the problem. But if needed, again, we can scale it as much as possible, or as much as we want, similar to the multi-regolith here. All right. Then the output, there is actually 2 outputs. Oh, we need some maintenance on this one, sorry. But there's 2 outputs, right? There is the rare earth element, but there's also the slag, right? So that's what I'm doing over here. You can see the rare earth element is this one, goes into the storage, and the slag is that one, goes into the slag storage, which is starting to get full. I'm gonna have to take care of that soon, but actually let's do it now before I forget. We're gonna put a second one, and then I've also have another way to deal with it. I'll show you in a second. Let me just connect that quickly. Okay, good. So yeah, the rare earth is going this way, and then the carbon, this was actually already done last time, right? We were producing this carbon there. It goes here, goes onto this belt. So yeah, the bus over here has been created. I did, as I was just saying, wanted to show you that for the slag, I have another way to, deal with it in a sense, is that this is going here, right? And this is the only thing that's continuing this side, right, at the end of there. So I could add as many storage as I want over here in the future to make sure it's never a problem. So yeah, with this, again, we can scale as much as we want those basic resources, and they're produced then into this bus. And then with the bus, we're going to start transforming them into more advanced things, right? So here I've organized it again in the sense of being able to stop using some of those resources or stop putting them on the bus as quickly as possible. So what do I mean? Well, if you look at this resource here over here, right, this is the titanium. There's actually 2 ways to use titanium. The first one is over here in the component factory. The second is over there to make titanium plates. There's no other uses. Or to be more precise, there is actually one more. If you look at the high-tech factory, you will see that in the high-tech factory there is other productions, but that's what I call alternate recipes, right? For example, the microchip production, you can do this alternate recipe here of using aluminum, silicon, and carbon fiber instead of doing this recipe that you can see over here, which is just silicon and rare earth elements. But the reality is these, at least for me, these are not useful. The only good thing about these is that you don't need to use rare earth elements, and therefore if you don't have a mobile drilling rig, then it may be useful because the rare earth element they can be hard to find on this underground mine, right? So if you're stuck there, then that can be useful, but otherwise these are not great. They are not great, so we're not going to use them. We're only going to use those high-tech factories for the things where this is the only way you can do them, right? Like composite, energy cells, and control unit, you have to do them there, but all the other ones, we're not going to use them. These recipes are not good in my opinion. So anyway, as I was saying, right, there is only 2 ways to use this titanium, and so that's why you can see the titanium belt over here. It is actually being used twice, but then it stops. Then I don't use it, and therefore I can put something else into the bus. So yeah, the first one is over here, the component factory. And again, you may remember before I had, for most of this production, either 1 or 2. Now we have like 5, 6, and we can put as many as we want easily. So we have 6 of these, right? Taking the steel and the titanium, that's easy. It goes over here, right? So we have the steel, by the way, is also one of these that only has 1 usage right now. So put it there and that's it. So we have the steel here and we have the titanium there. And the output is on this side, it goes into this storage. There is 1 elevator to bring it upstairs, right? And then it goes also onto the bus because it's going to be used to make other things. Right? Then the second one is just titanium into titanium plates, right, in the rolling mill. And by the way, over here, I have put a priority output to say, let's send the first there, right? I want to have as many components as possible before we make a lot of titanium plates. Then next one is a really critical one, microcircuits factory. This is one of these I'm not really making enough right now, or I wasn't very recently. That's also why I've upgraded my silicon production. As you can see over here, like that's this one here. Now I think I'm making enough, and therefore I think my microcircuits are starting to increase. This is also where I'm starting to use a lot more of these people, colonists, by increasing the priority. We definitely don't have enough colonists to have them work everywhere. right? Many of the buildings have colonist space. So if you want them to work somewhere right now, the only way is to increase the productivity, the priority. So we have this one, and by the way, I've also upgraded them to level 2 actually. So these ones are producing quite a lot. As you can see, 377 of efficiency in general. So we're producing a lot. Yeah. This goes again over here. There's the elevator, and it also goes onto the bus over here. Then next is the assembler. And the reason I put this one next for the assembler for nanotube is because it's also using silicon, right? So doing the same thing, and the silicon over here, it starts there, then it goes there, and then the third use is over here. So yeah, that's the nanotube with the carbon fiber that comes over here, right? Carbon fiber comes there, the silicon comes over here, and then we have the output of the nanotubes, goes up and also goes onto the, where is it? That's this one, goes onto this one, right? Sometimes it's hard to know, but yeah, these are the nanotubes. It goes onto the bus to be used for something else into the future. Next is the microprocessor, again using the silicon, but also using the microcircuits that we're making over here, right? So that's why it is on the bus here, then goes there and there. And the output goes over here. And again, as always, we always have, it's very organized or very, let's say, mirrored or structured. We always have the storage, then we have one of these utility pole, and then we have the elevator. They're all organized the same. And then, yeah, of course, it goes also, onto the bus over here. And then we continue. We have, the duralumin plates that are using rare earth element and aluminium. So same two inputs, one output, goes into the belt over here. Then we have the modular frames. Again, I used to only have one. Now we have 4 of them, and I'm starting to also have engineers working there. This is using the titanium plates and the smart concrete. I'm not making enough titanium plates yet for this to be really working well. So that's why I haven't put more of these. You can see this is pretty empty there. And that's also why I don't put it as a priority yet. But yeah, we're gonna need this. We're gonna need this if we want to be able to have more of those frames, right? If I look over here, I think we are now up to 60. I've been using them, obviously, right? To build all of these, you need a lot, but still. Then we have the modular terminals using the components and the microcircuits once more. And again, goes into the storage and into this elevator and into the belt over here. And then lastly, we have over here the fuel factory, which is really needing some more aluminium. And by the way, the aluminium continues over here. And some of the other ones continues too, because it's not the end, right? As I mentioned, we will have to do a couple of those high-tech factories now, and those high-tech factories for the for what I want to do, meaning, for example, for this one, it will require some of these resources. Like this one requires the aluminium, for example, or this one requires the terminals. So I haven't done that yet because it's not really what's important. What's important right now is that I increase the production of the nanotubes and of the modular frames, to be honest. But yeah, we have the production over here, of fuel that takes the water, ice, and the aluminium. So aluminium comes from over here, and the water, ice actually comes from there. We have a big production. There is quite a lot of reserves that should be working for a while. But yeah, that's a lot, right? I hope you can agree that it is a lot. It took a lot of money because there's a lot of belts here that are expensive. It took a lot of resources to make it, and it is not working at 100% right now, right? As you saw, there are some of them that are working really well, like this one. It's definitely completely full, but this one is not. This one is working pretty well, but and this one too, actually. This one is fine. This one is okay-ish too, but this one is not at all, right? This one requires a lot more titanium plates. This one is also okay-ish, and not always full of microcircuits, and this one is not working at 100%. So there is more progress that needs to be done. And the key thing is we're not making enough of some of these. In particular, as you saw, not enough titanium and aluminium. Why? Because if you look at the regolith over here, most of the regolith I'm getting these days is very full of silicon. It does have a bit of iron, but it's very low on titanium and aluminium. And, it is, I know why, right? It is because if you look at my mobile drilling rig over here, Why is it not? Yeah, it is basically very full of silicon and has a bit of iron, but pretty much nothing else, right? And you can even see it on the map there, right? There is quite a lot of silicon, there is a bit of iron, but there's basically no titanium and no aluminum. So the problem is there's basically nowhere where there's everything, right? There's usually either one or the other, but not all of them. So I need another mobile drilling rig, right? I can have one focused over here for the silicon and iron, and then I can have a second one where I find a place where there is quite a bit of titanium and aluminum. For example, if I look over here, there seems to be the titanium, and there is also quite a bit of aluminum over there, right? So that could be a good place, but I do need a second one. And to get a second one, sorry, wrong button, we're gonna need this, a large vehicle assembly facility. Whereas quite a lot of resources, I mean, in particular the modular frames we just mentioned, right? That's why I said we haven't been making that much because I'm using a lot. But also it requires composites and some control units, which we're not making. So I need to buy basically 50 of these and 15 of these if we want to finish this. So let's do that right away. I don't know if we have enough money, but we can check that together. So let's go. Composite, we said we needed 50. Oh, this is so expensive. Look at this. The price has jumped, it seems. Yeah, this is way too expensive. And then these guys here, oh, they are also super expensive, but we only need, you know, oh, look at this. This is so much. We're going to need to do more contracts to be able to do this. I have been doing a lot of contracts. I hope you can believe me, but yeah, still, we're going to need more. Speaking about contracts, I mean, you can see over here, these are all of the elevators, really nicely organized. They are right now not really connected apart from this one of fuel, because I'm doing fuel definitely contracts a lot. Let's find one right now. I'm sure we can find a good one like this. Now this is on the moon. I don't like to do these ones on the moon. On Earth, 100,000. Well, it's not an amazing price. It's not an amazing price, right? This oh, those prices are not that great, actually. I feel like maybe I've been flooding the market a bit too much. There is some big numbers. Oh, this one is a bit better. Okay, let's take this one. Send the resources, and this enables me also to show you something that I knew, but I also had forgotten. Is obviously, you know, there's a limit, right? 9,000 ton is the limit for the large cargo, right? So you cannot give more than this, which is basically 225 fuel in this case. So we click there, but what you can do is then click again and do right away the next one, right? And still choose the flight control center. This way, if you only have one, what will happen is that there's a first, you know, shipment like this, right, that arrives and it's gonna get full, right, slowly but surely with the belt, and then when it's full, the second one will come right away, so you don't have to, you know, go back to it and forget about it. So that is good. Let's do another one while we are here, maybe for modular terminals or maybe for medicines. These are things that, you know, usually you can sell for quite a lot. Just need to find somebody that needs this. Yeah, like this, that's not bad. Do I have? I don't have aluminum, but frankly, I can buy that aluminum for this price. So let's do this. We're gonna send, in this case, more to the landing platform, right? Send all of this and send all of the aluminum. Done, and we're just gonna buy a bit of the aluminum. So let's go. Actually, you can buy a lot because again, it doesn't cost a lot. Look at this, 600 is just 100,000. So yeah. 300 done. And when we finish those contracts, hopefully we have enough money to buy those things I just mentioned and get another mobile drilling. Now, while we're here, also let me show you that in the Expedition Control Center, I have started what is needed for the laser gun step 3. I've given all of the modular terminals needed, and we're starting on the carbon fiber. We need 2,000, we have 1,200 right now. That's not enough, but the good thing is I've started to expand over here to expand that production. So a couple of details there. First, I have a lot more of those CPUs. Data center, we are now at above 1,000 of CPU capacity, but we're also almost at 900 usage, right? And this is because obviously we have a lot more factories than before. I have also increased both the production of water because it was getting into negative. Now we're fine. With 2 more, we're fine, but you know, with 2, it wasn't enough. So I have 4 of these, and similarly for the oxygen, now we have 3 of these, and also more reserves. Okay, 1 contract already done, right? And the other one should be taking a bit more time, but should get there. So yeah, we have expanded this. I have also 2 kitchens now. I have more beds, more tables, etc. because I have more people. Look at this, we have 20 people now. Let's actually check. Should we even, you know, we need more and more people. I'll show you why in a second. But if there are some good people, check from time to time, in particular engineers. We need engineers for all of our factories. They are a bit expensive, but let's take them. You never know if we're gonna get some good ones also. Oh, this one is a bit old. But still, let's take him. Okay, let's hire them and get them here. Okay, so they cost oxygen, they cost money to hire and to maintain, right? But they are going to work in all of my factories, so that's really important. So yeah, we have expanded this. I'm starting, oh, why is that not being built somehow? So, you know, we're starting to also expand. I have built, for example, this room didn't exist before, and this one too. And in this room, as you can see, we have quite a few now of these carbon fiber factory. We used to have 3, and now we have 5 more to try to make more carbons and then send it for this expedition, right? Slowly but surely we're getting there. It is costing quite a lot of organics, so I also have 3 organics now working at the highest priority. So I always have people, you know, you can see there's always people working there, so the efficiency is very high. But clearly, actually, I need even more because look, my storage is empty. So that is not good. We should, the contract has been completed, what I was talking, so perfect. So yeah, as I was saying, I think we're gonna need even more of these very soon. I may have to move these somewhere else, maybe break this wall, so to expand that production, but we will do that in the future. I have also paused, by the way, those labs, because the reality is we have very good income of research, and I've also done a lot of the research. I'm not saying there is no more research and that nothing is useful. We're continuing, you know, to do some of these, but the reality is, if you look, for example, at the rolling mill upgrade level 2, it is super expensive to do that. It's actually, for me, better right now. Expensive, I mean, sorry, let me show you quickly what I mean. Is if you look over here, right, these are my rolling mills, right? The level 1 is already 25,000 to give me a small upgrade. Level 2 is even more, usually it's around like 70,000 for just one. It's easier for me to just build another one next to it, especially for those buildings that don't even have those engineers, those people working there. Right? If you think about a component factory, or more importantly, in the microcircuit factory, 3 staff, obviously, I don't want to create another one. I prefer to first upgrade this one, because that way I get the bonus for those 3 people. But again, we've done already most of them. There's very few that are remaining in the engineering. Fundamental is the same. I've done a lot of great progress during those 500 days. So we have, for example, upgraded a lot the storage of our cargo trucks, my mobile drilling ring, you know, they're even better. And again, there is still a few over here, but as you can see, not that many, right? And then in social, there is definitely a lot more, but they're also a lot less they're also a lot less useful. I mean, this one will be useful very soon, but many of the others so far, you know, I haven't seen a lot of value in them. This is also because remember, this is the part of the game where they're really still working on. So anyway, we have done a lot of great progress. We're making a lot more carbon too, to hopefully, sorry, wrong button, to hopefully finish in this first delivery in the center. And then we'll be able to move to the next one, which will be 2,400 modular frames and 1,500 nanotubes. Whew. But yeah, as I said, the key thing is I need another mobile drilling rig first. Speaking about the map here, as you can see, you know, I have basically found out all of the points of interest. There's no more to discover. I still need to send expedition to many of them. And this is mainly because I only have 1 expedition center and it's full right now with this. So I would really love if we could have a second one. But anyway, right now, this is what it is. But actually, I've been speaking a lot, so I think it's time to end this episode here. I know I didn't show a lot of construction in screen, but hopefully you can really see how this works. Don't hesitate to ask me questions in the comments, but I'm really proud of this. I think it's gonna help me a lot for the next 1000 days, even if I'm pretty sure we're not going to be able to get to step 7. You know, I don't want to lie. I think this is going to be tough. But yeah, tell me in the comments below, and before the next episode starts, I'm going to make sure, you know, to have this built and hopefully to get a second drilling one. Oh no, there is one last thing, sorry, one last big tip is if you look at your cargo dock, when you do expedition and other things, you may bring other resources. For example, I have 99 rare earth elements, or I have 13 nanotubes. These ones are very hard to get, or to, you know, to do something with, because if you look over here, you can only allow the taking of resources for everything. And so when you do it, they're going to take the regolith first. And, you know, I have a ton of regolith, so that doesn't help. In terms of the outputs, we know that these ones are regolith. This one, the first one, is for rare earths, and it's just this second one on this side that is for everything else. As you can see, by the way, on this here, right? So there is one way, which could be, you know, you put a long belt and then you put some filters, right? You put some filters and then you have different storages, but that's a mess, right? The way I suggest is you do like I did here. You do, you know, a conveyor like this, and you shift to select it all, and then you drop the resources. And now my drones will be able to come and take those things, right? Especially if they are needed for something. And then more resources come, and then you can drop them again on the floor, right? And this way you can make sure that all of these get empty. You can see they are actually already coming, because some of these resources are very important and very needed, right? So they're definitely bringing them quickly. In particular, I think there was some carbon fiber that they are bringing over here. So yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you are you know, still enjoying this series. I hope you are slightly impressed by this new base, because it took me a while. And yeah, I hope to see you next time. Thank you for watching.